Welcome to Paul and Andy's podcast, Grey Matters.
Hello. Gosh, fantastic. That was a nice lunch.
That was a nice lunch, wasn't it?
Apologies to everybody for our last episode, which basically became Paul asking my partner Sally about everything to do with food. But that's because you're both passionate about food, and I get it.
Well,
And
food's important, isn't it?
yeah, we'll have people writing in, so can you bring Sally back, please? Because she's far more interesting than Andy.
Well, the odd thing is that it may not be good enough to put out. We don't know. It may be, she's too faint because we just started recording, didn't we?
We
just
did.
Went for it,
And we weren't wearing headphones at all.
We don't.
Anyway, how have you been?
Very good.
Good.
Very good.
You
Thank
look
you.
well.
I feel well. I'm busy. I think being busy does make you feel well if you're
Yeah.
not too busy. As long as you're getting good sleeps.
Yes.
Sleeping's very important, isn't it? I mean, I know that's an overstatement, but we're not in a soundproof studio today, listener. We are outside in the glorious sunshine.
Yeah.
And you've been watching Wimbledon, haven't you?
Oh, God, don't get me started. I do actually like watching tennis. Not religiously. I don't turn the TV on to watch tennis, and it's not appointment to view. But if it's on, I'll watch it, and then I'll kind of get drawn into a game, as you do. So I don't follow anybody, and I don't, I'm not a super fan, and I would never dream of going to Wimbledon to watch tennis.
Why?
Because you see more on the telly.
Well, it's the atmosphere, isn't it?
Yeah, but I'm not that fussed. I'd rather just watch the game. If I'm going to watch a game, I want to watch a game. I don't go there for the atmosphere.
Well, you were getting irate about it when I last spoke to you.
Oh, that was because
Driving you nuts.
that was because of scheduling. The BBC drives me nuts every year. It puts all the tennis on BBC One and just disrupts the whole schedule, which doesn't sound like a big deal, but and I know a lot of older people like me are routine based, but when things get bumped around the schedule, it's confusing for people, and they don't like it. But the BBC just continues to do it every year, rather than say, right, all the tennis, if you want to watch it, is on BBC Two every day, all day long, and all night long, and you can watch it there, and we'll just leave BBC One alone.
You've heard of the iPlayer, I take it?
Yeah,
haven't you?
or just dump it all on the iPlayer and say...
But it is on the iPlayer.
Yeah, well, why do you have to put it on BBC One then?
Well, what do you want to watch on BBC One anyway?
The news. It wasn't on at 6
BBC
o'clock.
News channel.
Yeah, but I want to watch the news at 6 o'clock to find out what their editorial process is and which stories they think are important and all that sort of stuff.
Well, are you a creature of habit?
Yes, I think so. So yeah, I sort of, and I've been on the receiving end when there was one year I was presenting the late news for the BBC on the television, and this tennis match was going on and on and on and on, and we were sitting there ready to go at 10:25, and it overran, and then they just said, "Oh, we're not going to bother coming to you." So everything had been for nothing, and I don't think I've ever got over that.
Well,
really.
clearly not.
No.
So it must have been some years ago.
Well, yeah, it was. Yeah,
Well, I'm sorry that you were kept on.
but nothing's changed.
Well, I'm sure it has.
So
Because Wimbledon's become more important, isn't it?
That's it. Who
Well,
says?
if it's on BBC One all the time, it never
used to be.
be.
It did used to be.
Did it?
Yeah.
I thought it was reserved for BBC Two.
No, this is the problem. They
I remember it being part of my childhood,
Yeah,
vividly,
same
absolutely
here.
vividly, watching it in black and white.
Yeah.
I remember my dad coming home and having a tray on his knees, watching the highlights or the latest thing that was going on. Elina Stasi would have been the era. John McEnroe. You cannot be serious. And I remember my father eating his dinner to it. So I like it, and I will get drawn into a game. But there are certain things that tire me about it. And I played tennis. I was almost conceived on a tennis court.
tennis.
You know, it's grass. Lawn tennis was kind of part of my early childhood.
Yeah.
And knocking the ball over the net when the grown-ups had finished, and get the kids on and a little knock. And yeah, it was lovely. And going to get a new wooden racket.
Oh yeah,
and there was a little shop in Enfield Highway that you went, and it smelt of varnish and glue and catgut, and you had your catgut racket. It wasn't no nylon strings.
No.
Crikey, I'm old. But I remember very vividly the smells, the taste, the sounds of it all. Playing tennis on a weekend and being dragged over and having sandwiches and crisps and the real treat was allowed to go up at the top, and up the top was the top of the field where the cricket pavilion was, because we were a part of a cricket club with a lawn tennis section, and on a special occasion you could have a bitter lemon and a packet of crisps that had a little twisty blue bag in of salt. That's the era we're talking about. So I think tennis is important. I like watching it.
Yeah.
Like I like watching any sport, but I'm too restless. I don't know if I've got ADHD or something, but I get bored with it. And also I get bored with the kind of, they're owning millions of pounds, even the unseeded, well, not the way people way down the ladder of the seeds are still earning millions of pounds of it. And I don't know, it just seems to take away from it. And I don't like all this. It sounds like a labour ward, frankly. And they're not giving birth; they're playing tennis, and everything's contested. Even the other day, the actual electronic thing, which has done away with umpires and people in those blazers, with hands on their knees, bending over, scrutinising everything, because somebody omitted to turn it on for a game. Yeah. So we're no better. And the ball clearly was out by about a foot.
Yeah, it was a long way.
All bungled.
Yeah. And I'm with you about all the noise, because people Bjorn Borg didn't used to make a noise, did he? When he played tennis,
I don't remember him.
No, I don't remember him. Especially
people didn't grunt.
No, they didn't. And do they do it to put their opponents off? Because I just get a bit disconcerted, because I think, but that's the noise I make when I get out of the chair. And then I think to myself, yeah, but they've just served at 130 miles an hour, and you haven't.
Well, you got out of a chair, though.
I've got out of a chair,
unaided,
and that's it.
Without your carer.
So,
I think it's an explosive energy, and they've been told that it's a good thing to do and not to be embarrassed or feel awkward by it, because it'll give you that extra edge.
Yeah, and put your opponent off.
I guess. And some of the serves, I don't think they ever served that fast,
no,
did they?
Didn't, no.
So, they're amazing athletes. It's an amazing time.
It is amazing.
But it irritated you, and irritated me.
It's the scheduling that irritates me, the messing around, and the BBC not being able to make a blooming decision, as usual.
Poor old BBC.
Do you remember when tennis balls were white as well?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. Well,
absolutely.
Why did they change colour?
So they're easier to see.
Oh, right. Okay, isn't that part of the game?
Oh, what, they're difficult to see?
Well, yeah.
What colour are golf balls?
White.
All of them?
No, but they have some luminous ones for when it's foggy and misty. So you can find them.
You need to have luminous balls, otherwise you can't find them in the dark.
Yeah, but they've got floodlights and everything. Why don't they go back to using white balls?
I think I've had enough of your rant, to be honest with you.
I'm so
Tell us about your barbershop stuff.
Oh, we've had a busy old time with it, really.
Lots of singing.
Since we won our Best Improved Chorus title at Bournemouth at the British Association convention. So we did. We sang on Plymouth Hoe for Armed Forces Day. That was great. Lots of good performers during the day for that one, and we're playing a festival this coming weekend in Tavistock Fringe Festival. So yeah, that's all going well. I'm enjoying it, enjoying singing. It's just nice to have a hobby, isn't it? That's just a nice thing to do. Doesn't take too much of your time, but it's taken up quite a lot of time. But it's just nice to feel like we're kind of on the upward trajectory. Really.
And it releases the endorphins, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's good for your stress as well. It's good for your stress levels,
both physically because of the breathing, and also when you hear those harmonies, particularly Barbershop.
Yeah, when you hear a good
harmonies.
chord, It's really lovely. It reverberates.
Hairs on the back of your neck.
It reverberates within you, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm loving that.
What do you find most difficult about it?
I don't know. I think it's listening. I think it's really hard when you're singing at the same time to listen at the same time to others around you, to make sure that you're making the same sound.
Yeah.
Very difficult.
Do you stick one finger in your ear?
No, that's folk singers that do that.
I thought they stuck fingers in other people's ears. I'm not sure about folk music, are you?
Yeah, I kind of like it, and I don't know.
It's too broad a thing to like.
It's like saying pop music, isn't it? There are so many different variations on it.
Yeah.
But no, folk music. I don't know. I think it's all right. Depends what mood you're in, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're feeling particularly depressed, it's the great music to be depressed to. I don't like. I quite like diddly dee music. If you go to Ireland and you go to a bar, there,
fiddle music.
And it's joyous, and people are whipping out instruments and joining in, and it's diddly diddly. You know, I like that. That. And I do like some folk music. I must admit, some of it I'm not sure. I'll tell you what I don't like: Morris dancing. And I know it's a bit of a non sequitur, but I don't like it. I think it feels wrong. Men dressing up in strange clothes with bells on their legs, dancing around and clacking their sticks. I know it's part of heritage, but that's a bit I'm happy to leave out. I did do some once at the Devon County show. They hoodwinked me into having a go, and it didn't make me feel any better about myself.
Has it scarred you for life?
It just felt a bit weird. Also, I think it's a secret way of drinking and knocking back the old pints.
Each to their own, though. If people enjoy doing it,
yes,
I'll happily watch it.
No, I won't watch it.
You weren't a Punch and Judy fan either, were
I
you?
was.
Were you?
Very much a Punch and Judy fan.
Okay.
But I think more out of nostalgia, because the first Punch and Judy show that my brother Mark and I saw was at Broadstairs in Kent. Between Ramsgate and Margate. Beautiful resort, sandy beaches, white cliffs, and a Punch and Judy.
Yeah, you don't see them anymore, do you?
You do.
Do you?
Yeah. I covered it at a show for the BBC. It would been the year before last, and there was a guy there. There's a federation of Punch
I know,
and
it's
Judy
huge.
people.
There used to be, because I
And in
interviewed
fact-
a guy in Scarborough that used to do it.
Well, the guy that heads up that federation is a guy called Glyn Edwards. And he used to be a TV producer.
Yes.
Worked on Tiswas and things like that. I
Yeah.
worked with him. And he's kind of the King Mr. Punch.
Is he a professor?
Yes.
Yes.
That's right, they're called professors.
They are.
I think there's something macabre about them, and there's something, very nostalgic and old-fashioned about them. And of course they've had to adapt and change over the years. Otherwise, it's about baby battering and women battering and all kinds of abuse.
Crocodile battering. Crocodile sausages.
Yeah, and all of that.
Yeah.
But no, I am a fan. You don't see that many. I'm not sure the culture understands it now. Maybe it's drifted a bit, but it's certainly very much. But if you go to any resort, I bet if you went to Skegness or any of those, there would be in the summer a Punch and Judy man. I don't know any Punch and Judy women, though I'm sure there are some. If you are a Punch and Judy woman, a professoress, then do get in touch with us. We'd love to hear from you. Now, you talked about, I talked about Morris dancing being an excuse for a drink.
Which
this is a very tenuous link, but it's talking about drink. And when we've had a more serious podcast, we've talked about your battle and victory over alcohol addiction.
Ongoing victory.
Yeah,
it's a work in progress.
Yeah, I hear that.
Yeah.
And early on in our career as podcasters, we talked about alcoholism and being bipolar. And a woman walked into your AA meeting as a result of hearing the podcast, which made us continue doing them.
Yeah.
Now, you said there was something that the other day she was presented with something. Tell me what that was.
Well, at our meeting, we give away what we call sobriety chips, and they're little coins to mark people's, especially their first year, because the first year is quite difficult for a lot of people, their sobriety journey. So we have a 1 month chip, 2 month chip, 3 month, right up to a 1-year chip.
When you say chip, what is it? Like a casino chip?
Like a coin, shiny coin that says, it's got on one side it says 1 month or 2 months or whatever, and on the other side it's got the AA logo with the triangle. Right. And to thyself be true and all that sort of stuff.
Right.
And it's just basically for them to, because people can get a bit despondent in their first months of recovery, it's just to give them that extra spurt on, and to for the rest of the group to celebrate in their finding a new way of life, as it were, and to support them. And so the lady in question, I gave her a 10-month chip to the other day at our meeting, and it made me really, really proud. Yeah. And she's done remarkably well and continues to do remarkably well. So that's great. So it's just one of those things. And then we do actually give bronze coins out to people on their yearly anniversary of their sobriety date. So, for example, I know people that have got their 34, 35 year coins that still go to meetings, and that's amazing.
Why do they still go to meetings? They're cured, aren't they?
No, you're never cured. You're only cured the day that you die, sadly, because it's like any disease. It can lay dormant for a very, very long time, and they still go to meetings to pass on their experience of strength, hope, recovery, which when I first went along, there was a chap talking who'd been sober for over 10 years, and I just looked at him and thought, that's amazing. 10 years, you haven't had a drink for 10 years, and you're sitting at a meeting, and it was so inspiring to think that could be me one day, and it is possible. And he seems like a really normal person. Yeah. He's not gone mad. Yeah. All those things are worth demonstrating, and the best way to demonstrate anything is through experience and lived experience. So, you get people going along to meetings who've a long time sober, 15, 16, 17 years, in the hope that they can help others to achieve sobriety.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, let me tell you that I saw Richard, who appeared with us on an earlier podcast, talking about his story and about why he had become dependent.
He looks like a different person
when
I met him.
He is. Yeah, I mean, he really is.
Honestly, I'm so chuffed for him.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's he's talking about the future. He's talking about the plans that he's got. He didn't have a future, and he really didn't. He'd be the first to say, he was just kind of dementing himself into a, the grave. And but it's a journey, isn't it? You haven't passed the finishing tape. You haven't got your passport to freedom. You've got enabling people and supporters, and you've found the inner strength to do it yourself. Because at the end of the day, unless you had said, I'm going to do this, you wouldn't be sitting here.
No, and the fact that you do, honestly, when you do help somebody else, it's so good for your own sobriety. Yeah. The fact that you can pass all that experience on and think to yourself, right, okay, this might be, a waste of time talking to this person, but you just never know. Yeah. Something might something might resonate with them that they think, oh gosh, yes, I never thought of that, or I never thought about it in those terms before. Yeah. So it's invaluable. It's how we learn in life, isn't it, from each other?
Yeah, and I think it throws the spotlight onto not just alcohol addiction, but any addiction. Yeah. And we sometimes gloss over some of the others. We might, I can't think of a better phrase, flirt with pornography addiction. But porn addiction is massive. Massive from 10, 12 years old. Young boys particularly, and girls, but young boys are being exposed to dreadful stuff, anything they want, and that's an addiction that takes hold of people. Addiction, simpler addictions, addiction to to money and earning money.
Yeah.
I mean, it says in the Bible, doesn't it? It doesn't say money is the root of all evil. It says the love of money is the root of all evil. And I've got no problem with people having pots of money, especially if they share it with me, or they share their assets with me. But if that takes hold of your life, then you become this money-making machine that disregards relationships and people and addictions to work. You know, I'm actually going to be working harder than I've worked in a long time, because a 6-day week is not something. I know farmers do it. Farmers do 7 days a week sometimes, and there are people in the medical profession that are working, you know, ridiculous hours. But I'm going to be working 6 days a week throughout July and August. Now, unless I put in the diary to spend some time with Helen, I wouldn't be and I've got to guard that time.
Yeah.
Because if I say, well, I'll go and do a podcast with Andy, or I'm just going to do that, before you know it, there isn't a day there and it's gone and you're back to work.
Yeah.
So addiction to work, addiction to anything is powerful.
Yes.
And I think smoking, sex, drugs, obviously, some of those more obvious addictions, they are damaging. Of course they are. They can destroy your lives. But any form of addiction can be detrimental to your well-being.